Today we're sewing the zipper fly. So start by finishing the raw edges of the fly extension of the front pieces. Right here, so finish with your serger, overlocker or zigzag stitch, just like this. So everything is finished. Now align both front pieces with right sides together and pin them along the fly extension. So you should align everything on the fly extension, and on the top you have a notch on top of the fly extension, and then just pin down the crotch line. Just like this, up to here, down to here. Now these notches should be perfectly aligned. So mark it with a pen or pencil or chalk. And now get your paper pattern piece to see where this dot, where this circle lines up. So place the pattern piece on top of the fabric, lining everything up. And now transfer that circle mark, use a pin, to transfer that circle mark to the fabric. So the pin is sticking out here, and with a pen just mark here, remove it, and now draw like an X mark, just to know where this point is, because you will need this. This is a very important marking. Now with a ruler, draw a straight line from the notch on top of the fly to that circle, to that point on the base of the fly. And then from that point down, you will just use a regular 1 centimeter seam allowance, 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Now, start sewing at the top, and then with a basting stitch, sew right down to this X mark. So you're going to start to sew with a basting stitch, with a long straight stitch to this circle, to this X mark, and then just sew with a straight stitch, with a regular straight stitch down to the base of the crotch. Make a small cut into the seam allowance at the base of the fly, right here, just to help this turn, and then press the seam allowances open. So the seam allowances are now open. So the next step is to pin the inside edge of this side of the fly piece. So when you're looking at it like this, it's the left side, but when you turn the pants around, it's the right side. Okay, so with that side pinned, you are going to top stitch along the inside edge of the right of the basted center down to the base of the crotch. Okay, so all the way down. So top stitch to the right of the center front, with top stitching thread, with the needle really close to the center front, but on the right of the center front, and just top stitch. When you pass the base of the fly, you now should sew right on top of the seam allowances that are underneath the fabric. So turn those seam allowances to the right side and just catch them when you are sewing. Back stitch, and that's it. So here's the top stitching on the right side. Now turn the pants back again. Now on the wrong side, turn the pants all to the left and extend the fly on the right side. So you have the fly extend on the right side, and now the zipper. Mark a notch 1.5 centimeters, so half an inch above the base of the fly. Just mark it with your tailor's chalk. This is half an inch above the base of the fly on the right side. And then you just place your zipper with the teeth down, so with the right side down, and the teeth are to the right of the basted center seam, and the zipper stop is right at that mark that you drew just now. So the zipper teeth are to the right of the basted center, but really close to the basted center, and the zipper stop is a half an inch above the base of the fly. Pin everything in place, and then with your zipper presser foot, sew the zipper to the fly piece. Now, sew this side of the zipper to the fly piece. Use your zipper foot to get really close to the zipper teeth, and now just sew with regular thread and regular straight stitch. Remove the pins and sew down the zipper. So now the next step is to flip the zipper over and the right side of the fly down. So like this, you just flip it over. So the zipper is now facing up, and now top stitch along the folded fabric edge right here. Just so, using top stitching threads, you just sew right along that folded fabric edge. It should look like this. So the zipper is now top stitched here. For the next step, it's easier if you turn your pants upside down. So flip it upside down, and now move the pants out of the way again to the left side. Just open it and move everything to the left, and extend the fly on the right side. Now pull the zipper over to the right so that the zipper and the fly are laying perfectly flat. Pin it. Pin the zipper to that fly, and then you are going to sew the right side of the zipper to the fly piece with regular thread and regular straight stitch. So use your zipper presser foot to sew the zipper along this side, just as you did before for the other side. The zipper is now all sewn, so you are not able to open it anymore because it's sewn on both sides. So now open out the pants with the right side facing up. Now you're going to pin the outside to the fly through all layers. So just move the pocket out of the way, it's easier, so that you don't sew on top of it. So to sew this, you're going to move the pocket out of the way. And now you're going to pin this side of the fly to the outside of the pants. So this side here, you are going to pin the outer layer to the fly extension on the inside, like this. It's not the fly extension, it's just the fly. And you can draw then a line with chalk or with a pen, but you need to follow along this edge, so it's a straight edge on top and then you curve it in. So you can just do a marking on top and then measure with a ruler, or just use a ruler to make marks down the fly. And you can also feel with your finger where you have the fabric underneath. So the fabric is here, I can feel it with my finger, so you have to sew to catch that fabric underneath. Just draw that line with tailor's chalk or with a pencil, and then you're going to top stitch right on top of that line. So with top stitching thread, sew really on top of this line here. So do a first row of top stitching, and then you will do a second row of top stitching inside that one. So use the top stitching thread in your regular presser foot and just top stitch it along that line. When you get to the curve, it's easier if you put your needle down and lift your foot, your presser foot, lift the presser foot, and then you just sew around the curved edge, doing a pretty curve. So this top stitch will be very visible in the front of the pants. So take your time to do it really perfect. Now, back stitch here. Remove it from the machine and then start on top again. See, the fly is now held to the front of the pants, and now you're going to sew a second row of top stitching inside that first row. So parallel, perfectly parallel, and to the inside of that first row. And when you get to the base of the fly, this time you will not backstitch and take it out of the machine. You will continue sewing down the front crotch, making that double top stitch to go down the front pants. So right here, you just sew. Now just back stitch just a bit, like 2 stitches or 3, and now pivot, holding your needle down, and sew down the crotch to make the second row of top stitching. Right here. Back stitch at the end, and that's it. This is what it should look like on the outside and on the inside, right here. The next step is to unpick your basting stitches. So now you can open out this front and see what your zipper really looks like. So unpick it, use a seam ripper to unpick your basting stitches. Just take them out. They should be really easy to take out. It was just the first one. And then unpick down the fly until you get to that stitch where you really backstitched, and so it's really strong. When you get there, you don't unpick anymore. So right here, I can see that it's not easy to unpick anymore. So this is the place where the fly is really sewn in place. Just take out your threads. So let's look at this fly. Do not trim the top of your zipper yet. That will be done later. So this is your zipper. See? A zipper fly, perfectly sewn, and it works. It's functional. Really nice. You can use this way of sewing the zipper fly to sew it on any pattern of jeans or pants or shorts or anything else. So now we are going to sew the fly extension. Fold the fly extension in half with right sides together and the long edges lined up. So line it up with right sides together, and now sew along the bottom curved edge right here. You don't need to do a 1 centimeter seam allowance here. You just need to do a small seam allowance, like 3/8 of an inch is perfectly fine. So to help it lay flat when you turn it out, you can just trim and clip some notches along that curved edge. Then turn right side out and press flat. Turn it right side out, press it flat, and now on to the pants again. So fold the pants again with the wrong side facing out and extend the fly on the right side, just like when we started. So all the pants are moved to the left and the fly is extended to the right. Move really the pants out of the way, so until you have almost no bulk there. Now line up the folded edge of the fly extension with the left edge of the fly right here. So this edge should be lined up perfectly. So the extension is covering the zipper. Now pin the raw edge of the fly extension on the right side. And before you sew it, this is a bit different than the written instructions. You are going to really open up this side, move the fabric really out of the way, the maximum that you can, so that you can pin it really close to that bulk. You want to sew the extension to the zipper tape so that it covers the zipper tape. So just move the fabric out of the way underneath and then pin it really to the zipper tape and really close to that area. So move it as you need it to make sure that you pin everything really close. Now turn it to the other side, and here you are going to see if everything is really close to that area. This area is really bulky, but in the end it will be really pretty. Now sew really close to this fold. We're going to sew with a regular thread and use your zipper foot to sew really close to that fold, to that bulk. So use a regular stitch and just sew perfectly close to that fold. Backstitch at the beginning and the end. See, it's sewn really close to this fold, and the extension is sewn to the zipper, covering the zipper tape. Now, before you do anything else, you're going to trim all of this part away with your scissors. So trim it until you have about 1 centimeter or 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So cut through the fly and the fly extension. leaving about 1 centimeter or 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And now we're going to do something different than the original instructions, the written instructions. So I like to cover this raw edge with a lining tape, with a bit of fabric. So just get your lining fabric right here, move the fabric out of the way here, just place it on this side that has the interfacing, right sides together. Okay, so the right side of this lining piece is down, it's facing down. With the right side down, just place it here, and you're going to sew exactly on the same place that you sewed before. So with the zipper presser foot, so really close to that folded edge, to that bulky edge. So I'm going to sew this fabric and backstitch in the beginning and the end. It's sewn here, and now you're going to flip it up, bring it up and fold it to the right side, and now fold this raw edge down and fold it in place and cover everything. See? This is what we're going to do. So instead of just finishing these raw edges with an overlocker or a serger and just have it visible, you can just trim a bit of this fabric, because mine was just a bit too wide. Just trim a tiny bit of it. And now we're going to cover all these raw edges and enclose everything. Start in the bottom, just fold it up, pin it a bit to hold it in place, and then you can fold the side and bring it on top of the other to cover everything. So fold the bottom. It will help to hold it with a pin. Don't be afraid to use pins, use lots of pins if it helps you. Now fold the side edge once and then again over itself and cover those raw edges and pin it. Fold the rest of that tape. You can also do this with bias tape, but this is a straight edge, so you don't need a fabric cut on the bias. If you want to use it, it's perfectly fine, but I like to use a piece of the lining fabric that I used for the pockets, so when the pants are open, you can see that it matches. It's just nice. I think it's just nice. So now pin it as you can, and you're going to sew on top of this really close to this folded edge, to this inside fold edge. So now edge stitch that tape really close to that inside folded edge with regular threads, and when you get to the bottom, backstitch a bit, and you can even sew across it just to make sure that it doesn't come off. So the raw edges are all enclosed and the inside looks very pretty. Like this, it should look like this. Now the final step is to sew 2 bar tacks to the fly extension. So right here on the bottom of the fly extension, and when the fly extension starts to be straight. So in these 2 places, mark it from the wrong side of the pants, and now you're going to sew the bar tacks on the right side of the pants. So you just need to sew the outside of the pants to the fly extension inside. You're going to sew a bar tack on top of the outer top stitching row. So just sew it on the outer top stitching row. These bar tacks will help to hold the fly in place without it opening too much when you are wearing the pants. So just sew the first bar tack, and like here, like this here, and now the other one on the bottom, really on the bottom of the fly extension. There you have it. So the bar tacks are here and here, here, and then the top stitching is all done. This is the outside, the pockets are functional, the zipper also opens and closes perfectly. So the front is all finished. If you are sewing the pants with the knee patches, that is the only thing that you have left to do. But besides that, the inside of the pants look nice, with the pockets French seamed and this tape covering these edges. And so the front of the pants are all done.